If you have ongoing exposure to controlling people, it's a virtual certainty that you're going to experience blurry boundaries, which is why I've created the extensive online course called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. There's a link below that will give you all of the details, and I hope that you would find it therapeutic. Most narcissists have a way of trying to appear as being strong and very confident in their demeanor, or at least that's what they tell themselves. But as you learn the whole spectrum of narcissism and what it's all about, you begin realizing these are deeply insecure individuals. They're constantly on the hunt for some form of supply. They need you to say that they're special. They need you to give them admiration and affirmation. Now, sometimes, in the case particularly of the overt or the more malignant forms of narcissism, they can just be openly bossy and critical and forceful. They have that strong character that nobody can deny, and that's what they do to keep people in line with them. But one of the most common trends that we see with narcissists is what we refer to as love bombing, or if it's not in a romantic situation, it can be flattery or extra helpfulness. And many times these individuals can position themselves as being one of the nicest people you ever met, and it lasts for a while, but it's not permanent. Now, these individuals have one thought on their mind, and that is, are you impressed with me? And for a while, they can do some things that would give you evidence that they really are a pretty special kind of person. But you're going to learn on the backside of much of their flattery and helpfulness is an expectation, and it's summarized in those four simple little words: now you owe me. And I'm sure that many of you have relationships where you began to realize that only after you got sucker punched, and that sucker punch was only after they came on so nice. Now, I want to see if we can go through multiple ways that narcissists can use this false flattery up front to bring you in, and then let's take a look at what that implies for you. Now, first and foremost, narcissists can come across in a very friendly kind of way. Now they may show an interest in whatever it is that you're interested in. They may remember complimentary details about you. Now, you're not going to see the anger up front, but they've got it there. But they're just going to try to show you that they're a really easygoing and friendly and uplifting kind of a person. And of course, you can be thinking, wow, this is really nice. I'm kind of drawn into that. And that wolf in sheep's clothing is thinking, good, keep it up. Many times they're going to be willing to do special favors for you. And it can be something as simple as, if it's at a work setting, doing a project that they know that you're supposed to do, but it's like, oh, I had some extra time, so I took care of it for you. Or it may be that in a personal relationship, they dropped by the store and picked up some things for you that they knew was something you liked, or doing a special favor inside the house. Hey, I fixed that squeaky door for you. Now, on the surface, that's a good thing. It's not as though being nice or being friendly or being attentive is a wrong thing, but with narcissists, you eventually learn it always has a hook on the backside of it. Often in their extra friendliness and their extra flattery and helpfulness toward you, they'll pretend like they are going to overlook some of your flaws or some of your mistakes. For example, if you do something that wasn't exactly your finest moment, they can say something like, oh, don't worry about that. In fact, they may even want to find out, well, what are some of the other things that you've done that have been frustrating, or that you've had some hurts with? And they want to find out about some of your difficulties that may have been there, and they can pretend to be interested. Only later on, you're going to find out, no, it's not that, it's data gathering, because they'll eventually use it against you, but at the time, you don't see it. Many times, these narcissistic individuals will give idealized comments about you. It's like, I don't know if I've ever met somebody as friendly as you, or as beautiful as you, or as intelligent as you. I mean, you're really extra special. And so they may give you gifts. They may treat you to very special kinds of events, like a very expensive dinner, or they may take you to all sorts of different kind of interesting events like concerts and things of that nature. And almost to the point where it seems to be a bit natural, but then they can come back and say, well, as somebody as nice as you just deserve the best. Many times they will appear to have very strong attachment styles. It's like, well, I just can't get enough of you. Or you're so nice, and they'll text message you a lot. Or they'll drop by unexpectedly. It's like, well, I was just in the neighborhood. Or they can give you affection very quickly. And in romantic relationships, it's very common that they want to be sexual pretty quickly. It's because, like, well, I just can't keep my hands off of you. You're just so appealing. Many times they can even seem to show themselves to be personally vulnerable. If they feel like you're a personable kind of an individual, they may say, well, I've had my fair share of difficulties too. But in retrospect, you'll look and see that when they talk about some of their vulnerabilities, because keeping in mind, narcissists don't like to be vulnerable, it's always as a victim. Well, these people did me wrong. Or I was trying to be so nice to these folks in my past, and I'm telling you, they were just a bunch of manipulators. And so they'll talk about it, but they'll talk about their vulnerabilities from the position of the victim. That's how they operate. But of course, what they're trying to do is to get sympathies coming from you toward them. Now, these individuals will be especially nice when there's an audience involved. They can be nice to you when it's one-on-one, but then when there are 3 or 4 or a dozen or whatever people around, then they're really going to turn on the charm, and they may say something like, well, this person right here, who, by the way, have you noticed how many nice things they've done? This is someone that's attached to me, and they can seemingly regale you in front of other individuals, and you're thinking, wow, that feels kind of nice. They like being in the role of the white knight, the one that's there to save the day. Over time, you're going to begin realizing that mask of friendliness, the love bombing, the helpfulness is going to eventually begin to wane. Inevitably, you're going to say or do something that doesn't fit the script. And so they'll start showing a little disappointment toward you. It's like, well, don't you remember that I already did this for you? I mean, can't you just show me a little appreciation? Or they may say something like, well, I was nice to you. How come you don't do nice things for me? And you may not be as into them as their script implies that it should be, and they start letting you know about that. You'll also notice that over time, this person is into externals. They're constantly trying to make things nice, whether it's in the way they look or in their performances or achievements. They want to draw attention to those kind of things. And it's like, well, I sure hope everybody's impressed by that. And you begin realizing, superficiality is something that they are drawn toward, and they think that makes them extra special. I don't know that I can really trust that. Now, as time goes by, they begin to show their anger. They begin to show their strain and tension. Little small things can start setting them off. Or sometimes you tease with them and they can't take a joke, or they take that as an insult. It's like, no, I'm just trying to be friendly back toward you. And it's like, well, be friendly in a different kind of way. And that edginess can begin to show up. And then there are plenty of times when, boom, the anger comes out, and it can come out in full force. Basically, when they're very, very pleasant up front, it's almost a dead giveaway that they're going to be very, very vicious and angry on the backside once they've finished using you up, or they've realized that you're not going to give them the supply that they were hoping. And then they're going to look at you and say something to the effect of, you're trash, you're a liar, you're not trustworthy, you're one of the most ungrateful people that I've ever met, you're a loser. And they can come on in a vicious kind of way, and you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, not that long ago, I was the nicest person you ever met. What happened to that? And it's like, no, it was all done for show, because they're just looking for that supply. And they can be every bit as exaggerated in their disdain for you down the road as they were in their pleasure toward you in the earlier stages. That's how it works. So let's keep in mind, when we see this kind of pattern coming from narcissists, these are very needy people. They operate with the notion that says, feed me, feed me. They're constantly looking outward to fill whatever they have a lack of inwardly. You exist to pump them up. You exist to be a source of supply. And all of this pleasantness or friendliness or love bombing and helpfulness is merely a projection of what they're wanting back from you. They want you to be that way and then some. And ultimately, they're expecting you to play the role of their enabler. So as you see this, I'm hoping that you can recognize I don't want to be pulled in. And the best way to prepare yourself for this is to have your own self-esteem and your own confidence intact from the inside out, so that when someone does come along and they're friendly and helpful and loving and caring and flattering, it's like, that's nice. I appreciate it. But let's let time go by. And let's allow time to reveal what really is the truth, because, anybody could be nice when they're getting their way and when they're trying to gain favor. You're really going to know how nice someone is when things get a little bit less than ideal, or when conflicts show up. That's when you're going to find out what kind of maturity that person has. So slow down, and then let's remember that old adage that says, if someone seems too good to be true, you know the rest. I do hope that videos such as this give you some good food for thought, and I want you to be the kind of person that says, I'm wise and I'm onto the pattern there. And when I see things like this, I'm going to practice self-care even as I continue to engage with people. And so I'm hoping that if you've not already hit that subscribe button, you'll do so, and we'll keep more videos coming your way so that you can continue your learning process. There may be that times when you think, I could use some therapy to help me sift through this. We have a sponsor, and there's a link below to an online therapy a group that can, with a whole team of licensed professional therapists that can assist you. And if that's something that you would need, I would strongly encourage you to go through and click into that link and see how they can assist you in that. Also, we have my courses, and they're very extensive. We have multiples of videos with each course. And then with the videos, there's written material and questions, and it's meant to guide you and walk you through things. We have This Is Me about setting boundaries, Free to Be about finding yourself, and then we have more that are in the works coming along, and there are links below to that. We also have my books and even coffee mugs down there. I know that it's nice when somebody is loving and kind and helpful and friendly toward you. And we don't want to be too jaded, but at the same time, we also want to remind ourselves narcissists are master manipulators, and they'll look for any way that they can get an inroad with you and exploit you. So that being the case, when someone is nice and pleasant and friendly, take it for what it's worth. But I'm hoping that you can also be coming from your place of internal confidence that says, I like it when people are nice, but I also have my own inner strength that I'm drawing upon. And I'm hoping that that becomes the foundation for your experience of contentment and peace. I so want you to find your place of peace.